We're beginning a new series today we hope you'll enjoy. We're going to be turning half of this 24 by 24 garage into an apartment. Originally intended to house 2 vehicles when we were building this last year, mid-framing, the owners, also my parents, decided they wanted to make half of it into a gym. So we reduced the framing of one garage door, and installed these French doors. We installed a 200 amp electrical service and a panel with plenty of room for expansion. The inspector required these OSB scraps over the wiring to pass the final inspection. The plan was to eventually put a wall down the middle and fill this side with workout equipment. The new plan is to turn this side into an apartment that might eventually be rented out. It's to have a small living area, kitchenette, bedroom, bathroom, and laundry area. Though an undertaking like this could be done with no formal plans, my dad has drawn up the plans in AutoCAD to make things easier. With renovations like these on concrete slabs, you work from the bottom up. Since plumbing is beneath the slab and therefore beneath everything else, it's the first thing we want to lay out. Looking at the plans, we mark where all of the plumbing will run underneath the slab and where it must come up through the slab. Most of our plumbing connections are referenced off the partition wall that doesn't exist yet. So we'll actually have to go ahead and snap out where that wall will eventually be. After marking the center lines of our plumbing, we then snap parallel lines 6 inches off each side of the center lines. These will be where we'll cut the concrete. Next, we mark where pipes will come up through the concrete. Once we get those center marks, we extend reference lines from the center marks past the cut lines using crayon so that we'll still have marks to reference after the concrete, and thus our center marks are cut out. With a 12-inch masonry saw, we begin cutting. Starting at the bottom with a shallow cut to keep the dust from covering our line. Once all the lines are completely traced out with a shallow cut, we continue with more passes until the blade bottoms out. I forgot to cut out for the toilet and shower drain. It only took about an hour of a 4-hour jackhammer rental to break up and remove the waste sections. Next, we dig the trench to the planned depth. Here I'm cutting through the vapor barrier with the shovel. We'll patch this up later. Here, I measured the trench depth. Plumbing needs to be pitched so that it drops 1/4 inch per foot. A quarter bubble off plumb is roughly the same thing.
That's pretty good.
We'll tweak this later with some pea gravel. The string represents where one side of the new wall's bottom plate will be. It will be used to measure where the shower and toilet drains must go in order for the shower pan and toilet to fit properly. The toilet flange needs to be 13 1/8 inches from the back wall. Then 4 foot 1 inch from the middle wall. The drain for the shower we chose needs to be 16 inches from the wall framing in all directions. We make sure we have enough pipe to work with on the outside. Then mark where we'll have to cut it to install our first fitting. We scrape off any burrs from the cut. Then start gluing up. Primer first. Then glue. If you look closely here, you might be able to see how we make sure all of the upward alignment marks on our fittings are lined up with the print on the pipe. That way we know that all of our vents and plumbing drops will point straight up. Well, that's about all we have time for today. Next week we'll finish with the glue up and pour some concrete. We hope you'll come back to watch.